So dozens of my clients have made developer level profits by accident. They didn't even try to. And I'm going to tell you exactly how that happened. So it starts with most investors think they've got two choices when doing property. Either be boring and do a buy, hold, and hope. Just buy a house, wait for it to go up. It's boring. It's a terrible strategy. Or number two, go full developer. Take on debt, stress, approvals, needing to get this thing done and flipped in 12 months and try to make a profit in the same market. Look, that's okay, but look, both ends of that spectrum are crowded, like seriously crowded, but there's this opportunity in the middle. I call it the hidden middle, and that's where my clients sit. They're not developers, they're not flippers, they're just smart investors willing to be a little bit more active. So, we buy properties that look regular, but they have this built-in upside that the market almost always misses. I'll give you an example of one. So, property we bought, it was about 18 months ago now, in Victoria Point, which is a suburb about 30, 40 minutes outside of Brisbane City. We paid $820,000 for the house. We've spent $440,000 on a build to do a new house. It's on its own title. So it's not a granny flat, it's a separate house. So at the end of this, you'll have two houses to be sold separately or just own them separately. So when we bought it, we expected that the end value was going to be about $1.55 million. And then the cost of the land plus the plus the build was about 1.26. And so roughly that's a $290,000 uplift. It's good. Not life-changing, but when you compare that to a regular buy and hold or building a granny flat, it's exceptional. But if you looked at that purchase the same way a property developer would, you factor in GST, in and out costs, the holding costs, all that, it's only going to be a 9% return on cost. And developers are generally looking for a 15% return on cost, which would mean it wouldn't stack up as a development project. And that's completely fine because my client wasn't doing a development. They weren't being forced to flip it immediately and hope there was a big margin at the end. They were just investors that were a little bit smarter doing a normal purchase, but building a new house in the back that could be sold off separately or could be put on its own title. And yeah, it was just, that's all they were trying to do. And so you fast forward the 18 months since they purchased, I think it's about 15, but something like that, 15, 18 months, the market has moved a lot. Our build costs didn't move because we had a fixed build contract. We knew how much everything cost. So the end value, when we thought it was going to be $1.55 million, it's actually ended up at $1.82 million. So the uplift, instead of that being a $290,000 uplift, it's turned into a $560,000 uplift. And if you ran that like a developer, included GST, sales costs, stamp duty, all that sort of stuff, that would end up being a 27% return on cost. So thinking that most developers would have been happy with a 15%, it's almost double the return that a developer would have been happy with. Now, I'm not saying do this today and you'll make $500,000 because I can't guarantee market growth like that. But here's the point. The strategy is just, I guess, is so safe, is what makes the results like this possible, because for the client, they can buy confidently because even if the market was flat and it didn't grow, they were going to be way ahead, $290,000 ahead. But when the market did move, the result amplified significantly, which is why I hammer the same message to every property investor. Your job isn't to predict the market. Your job is to buy a property that is structured to win, regardless of what the market does. So you buy a property like this one that we just explained, and that gets you in the game, having that property. So that gives you a chance. And because it's low risk, the stakes are pretty low. Like worst case scenario, the market doesn't go up, you make $290,000 of an uplift. But you give yourself a shot at outcomes like this. You are positioned to take advantage of these market conditions when it booms, because you've actually got two houses going up in value, not just one. And that's why this property outperformed the market so significantly. Now, if you want to see how we find these sites and why they keep outperforming, visit the link below. I'll walk you through exactly how we do it.